Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
Cut it off! I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. This, today, is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time. I'm not in the mood to play with anybody. I mean, damn it! I'm ticked off.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Nathan, back with another video presentation, host of Big Nick Sports Talk Podcast. This is episode 14, season 10. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. Hope everybody's staying safe. Hope everyone's doing something fun for Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. Good day for a nice day off. This will be the last really true day off until Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, Cameron, what's good? Good to see you. My guy, what's going on, buddy? Before we get into the video, there's a few things I'd like to say up front. Be on the lookout for a couple of videos with the Baltimore Ravens 53-man roster, Washington football team reactions. Those will be up later tonight. I'll have those go up tomorrow. We also will be on the lookout for the NFL previews for this upcoming season by division. You look on the lookout for that. We are actually getting close to the WNBA finals. We got one more game for both teams. If Chicago and Las Vegas wins, they go to the finals. And we're a little under 2.5 weeks until playoffs start for baseball. Maybe saying around, I think it's like 3 weeks, something around that time frame. So be on the lookout for those videos. But as you see, I brought back my guy, Brenden Potts. Brenden, what's going on, buddy?
Hey man, how you having a good weekend?
It's been a decent weekend. Other than weekends just go by fast. Like once Saturday goes, Sunday goes, it's just like where'd the weekend go? So
yeah, right.
This weekend.
My college team got its first win of the season. Go Cougs! To anyone watching from Washington State, big Go Cougs to them. And we're headed to Madison, Wisconsin on Saturday. We'll see what happens.
Nice. I like that. And also shout out to the Maryland Terrapins as well. We won, but there were some things. I'll mention that in my recap video for Maryland. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here because we painfully have to. There you go. Go Cougs. Shout out to Shane McCormick. We painfully have to talk about what we saw yesterday transpire with the semifinals round 2. And we're going to start with the Connecticut Sun painfully versus the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Sky beat the Connecticut Sun 76-72.
What was that? What the hell was that? I'm sorry the H words and the D words aren't appropriate over the airwaves, but it's going to be today. I don't know how much more of this I can take. How in God's name?
Brenden, do you want to take the floor on this one?
I mean, to be 100% honest, I didn't concentratingly watch this game. But one of the things that stuck out to me was something that Kurt Miller harped on basically during the game when he was mic'd up, and I think the stats show was they lost by 4. Connecticut lost by 4 points, and one of the big reasons why they lost this game was they couldn't make layups, and that's I call free throws one of the most important shots in basketball. layups are pretty damn close to the most important shot, most important basic shot in basketball that you need to make. And I believe the stat was they were like Connecticut was like 5 of 22 or something like that from inside 5 feet. Not quite 5 makes, but like
It was 8 of 26.
yeah. I was gonna guess 8. Yep. So they were single digit makes in more than 20 attempts from inside 5 feet of the basket. And that is just unacceptable. And on Chicago's end, you need to beat a team that does that by double digits. You just have to. And a win's a win. I'm not going to criticize Chicago whatsoever. They got the job done on the road, and they're going into a closeout game. But, Connecticut, you need to make, especially with, you play 4 bigs in a starting lineup. You put like that's the biggest advantage for that type of stat is the lineup that you roll out with if you're Connecticut. So it's just the little things. It's just the little basic things.
The Connecticut Sun.
You stink. Let me just get that out the way. You stink.
As an offense, couple things. The offense, once again, this is just nowhere to be found. Brenden, you could back me up on this. The last 6-7 seasons, no one's had the success like Connecticut. But these last 6 seasons, including the bubble, you have one finals trip to show for all this hard work you've put in. And these last 6 seasons, the reason why is your offense is just not good. And yesterday was a case in point. It ain't going to work. Something has to change. When you take 68 shots from the field and make 25 of them, that is the 3rd time in this postseason and the 2nd time in this series against Chicago where they shot under 40% in the field, from the field. Give Chicago credit. They're lengthy. They can, disrupt your offensive flow, make things difficult. But there's no creativity, and the shooting is piss poor. And I'm to the point where it's really at a point where you can't make it. You can't make excuses for Kurt Miller. Like when you're on national TV and saying any suggestions on pro professionals making layups, and I'm going to use this as an example. The Washington Mystics, they played Connecticut. It was the 3rd game to win the series and potentially get the 4th or 5th seeding. In the 4th quarter, we only scored 7 points in that game. And I asked Coach T, I said, Coach, what was Washington not doing? I'm crazy phrase. What was Connecticut doing that made Washington only score 7 points? And he was like, we missed shots. Like he said, what player or coach can tell how you fix your layups? You got to make them. No. What coach can fix that? And I said it from the jump. I'm gonna say it again. Connecticut has too many chefs in the kitchen, and you can clearly see the body language. I just feel like really since last year, and it's been telling. My reigning MVP, and she went to George Washington University. I love her, Jonquel Jones. There's no way in hell my reigning MVP had 6 points.
What? What? And you got to be kidding me.
My eyes don't lie. When you got a 4 for 14, 3 for 12, 3 for 10, 4 for 10, 4 for 11, something got to give.
Yeah, And when John Paul Jones has 6 points, you're not gonna win. I don't care who you're playing against. When your star player, your MVP, like you said, the reigning MVP, has 6 points, you're not gonna win games, and especially you're not gonna win playoff games. I will give Chicago this. They are a veteran team. This is a veteran team in Chicago against I don't care how experienced Connecticut is. They're a rookie team when it comes to the playoffs. They are an unproven team, and they come in here every year, one of the top teams in the regular season, and they come in here with the pretenders target on their back. Like everybody calls them pretenders every single year, and this was just a case of that. But individually for Chicago, I'll tell you what, Emma Mieseman is starting to impress me. Like I haven't watched many players on the Chicago team closely, but Emma Mieseman is Emma Mieseman, Clay Copper, and that remind me of that rookie again. Rebecca Gardner. That's right. Yep. Yeah. So they've been really impressive to me, and they are making James Wade look good for Executive of the Year for sure.
I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, I just wish he'd stop whining about little things all the time. I like James Wade, but he just never seems happy. Something always has to bug him. That's always bugged me about James. But I agree. You talked about Emma Mieseman. That's why she's playoff Emma. Candace Parker didn't really have the best Candace Parker game but she still did. She showed, that's what a two-way versatile player looks like. Did everything, the little things. And I truly, truly have no confidence in the Connecticut Sun in the next game, because if I don't know what to expect. I would really hope, if you're going to make things messy, somebody in that starting five has to go to the bench. That's just a fact. Somebody has to go, because I don't know what this is, but the starting lineup you had out there, doesn't work. It just doesn't. I think you should insert Odyssey Sims in the starting lineup. I would put Alyssa Thomas on the bench. It needs to be better. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's transition into the better basketball game that occurred the later in the evening. The Las Vegas Aces versus the Seattle Storm. The Las Vegas Aces beat the Seattle Storm in overtime, 110-98. Brenden, I'm gonna give you the floor.
Oh boy. Let me first. So, if you guys don't know, you guys probably know by now, but I'm a Seattle Storm fan. I actually write covering for them. So, let me just say this before I speak on the Storm end. I said this during the Mystics series. If you like basketball, if you like WNBA basketball, NBA basketball, whatever, and you are not a fan of the Vegas Aces and the Seattle Storm, you love this type of game. This was an all-time classic. It was an incredible game from start to finish. It was an incredible game. Now, speaking on the Storm end, I think this is a pinnacle of what the regular season has brought to our fan base. We've had games where we haven't been able to close them out. We had a game against, I believe, it was Connecticut, where we had a 15-point or close to that double-digit lead that we weren't able to close out. And it's just, that was pre Tina Charles, and and all that stuff, and it's because the bench was rolled out at once, but it's a 15-point lead, and we weren't able to close it out. This game, it's just a showcase of what happened during the season, except it was magnified. And I will give the Storm credit. They came out after the first quarter, and they erased a 15-point deficit, and they came back and they put it up by 4 points or 2 points, one of those two. The thing about this Vegas team, though, is they're just like Seattle. They are not going to quit. They are not going to lay down and beat you up. And I apologize. It was after the second quarter that they erased the 15-point deficit. So the thing that getting into the last 10 seconds of the game, they go up by 2. The Aces go up by 2, and the Storm 6.5 seconds. The Aces go up by 2. The Coach Quinn draws it up, play after the timeout, and they execute it perfectly. And Sue Bird gets a wide open 3-pointer from the corner, and she puts the Storm up by 2. And the Aces go out of timeout, and they tie the game with an Asia Wilson with a layup to tie the game.
Can I ask you a question really quick?
Yeah, sorry.
Was that a travel? Was that a travel? Yes or no?
Yes, it was a travel, but people are like, this is what I hate about answering those types of questions. Yes, it was a travel, but it's not the tell-all reason why we lost this game. You're up by 4. We were up by 4 at one point with less than 10 seconds left. You're up by 4, and then they make a 3 to put it up by 1, where Seattle is up by 1. Now you inbound the ball, you're gonna get fouled. Sue Bird's inbounding the ball. That's actually smart because she's the best passer on this team, probably on the floor. And
you mean Gabby Williams? Gabby Williams is the inbound passer.
Was she? Okay. It might have been a timeout where Sue Bird was I digress. That's right. You're right. I apologize. So Gabby Williams puts it in. She gives it to Sue, and then Sue they ran the play wrong because the play was supposed to go to Jewel Lloyd because that's what always happens. Jewel Lloyd gets the ball, she's fouled, so she goes to the line instead of Tina Charles. Now Sue Bird gets the ball to Tina Charles, and I think at that point she had that reaction of she knew she messed up because she put probably the worst free throw shooter on the floor to the line to shoot 2 free throws to ice the game. Now Tina Charles has been in this league for a long time, and she's built her reputation up as a huge or a big name center and an all-star and a player that needs an NBA champion or a WNBA championship to cement her legacy. You are up. These are the types of games where champions are made. These are the types of moments where champions are made. And you talked all season about wanting to win a championship and all that stuff, and that's all fine. But you wanna win a championship. So you got to make one of these 2 free throws. It's fine if you
boom. Yeah.
It's fine if you split them, but you got to make one. So you miss the first one. All right, that's fine. You get one more free throw. You miss the second one. You have to make both. You have to make one. You just make one free throw, and Sue Bird should not have been in that situation that she was in to go up by 2 points. It's the little things. You have to close this out to get a game at home. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I talked about this after game one. Seattle looked like a championship team. They looked like they knew what they were doing. Coming into the series, they knew how to win a championship. I talked about the championship DNA being the difference in the series. Completely flipped that script, and that's what the last 10 seconds of this game looked like for Seattle. Do I think Vegas looked like a championship team in the last 10 seconds? No, not like a championship team, but they looked like a team that was able to close it out. But I will give them this. Becky Hammon looked like a championship coach rather than on the opposite side, Noelle Quinn. Becky Hammon looked like a championship coach. So yeah, once the game went into overtime, I kind of had a feeling we were going to lose, and it's the little things that cost us this game, and on to game 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to conclude the episode. No, he said it. He took the words right out of my mouth. That game to Asia Wilson with that layup, that wasn't the difference maker of the game. I mean, it came down to literally a game of possessions. He brought up Tina Charles missing the free throws. Sue Bird making the game, having the game winning three, and then the poor defense by Ezzy McNamagor to let Jackie Young just literally damn near just throw it in to take it into overtime.
Can I talk about that real quick? Go ahead. Because I missed that point. If you're at this Ezzy McNamagor has been off and on all season, and I think it's due to her age. It looks 100%. There have been moments during the season where age and experience have come into a factor negatively, and but for every negative for Ezzy McNamagor, there's one or two positives, and that's been the limelight of this season for her. This was a definite experience kind of an error, because if you're in the post and like Nate said, Jackie Young got a wide open layup, and it was because Ezzy McNamagor didn't play defense, and in the moment it looks smart, but because you don't want to foul. That's the one thing that coaches say, no matter if you're on the winning team or the losing team, don't foul. That's what you praise on if you're a coach. But in this case, if you're Ezzy McNamagor, go up for the contest, because chances are you're the second leading shot blocker in the league, and actually in this game next to Asia Wilson. Chances are you're not going to foul. Chances are they're not going to call a foul unless the refs want a game script, which Storm fans, yes, they do game script. Storm fans know the best is that, yes, they do game script with bullshit and awful calls. So chances are you don't foul. But with that, you save a game-tying layup, and you get the game, and you go up 2-1 heading into game 4. But let's say you do foul, and it's a hard foul, or chances are it's a hard foul, and she doesn't make the layup, but she still goes to the line. Like Tina Charles has shown, chances are you could miss one free throw. Let's say she makes both. Then chances are after that, there's still going to be time for coach to draw plays. So if you're Ezzy McNamagor, you need to think, or if you're Coach Quinn even, tell your young player to contest and and just go up and contest the shot. I feel like Coach Quinn, ever since Tina Charles came, she just threw stats out of the building, because when Tina Charles came to this team, she was the leading shot blocker, Ezzie McElroy was, in the league. And she was my pick all season to win Defensive Player of the Year for that reason. And ever since Tina Charles came to this team, she's just diminished Ezzie McElroy's production ever since she was in the starting lineup, excuse me. And, it just kills it's killing her confidence, Ezzie McElroy's. And, it's just, it messes with your mental, with the mental aspect, and in turn causes those mistakes. But it definitely should not have been a no contest. That's the last thing I would have done if I were.
So when are we going to say something about it? You know what? I'm going to walk away. I'll be right back, because I'm scared I'm going to say something that might get me in trouble, because I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh my gosh, I was not talking. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I said all that and my mic was muted.
I honestly thought it was me. I was like, what?
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So Chelsea Gray, who's been on fire these 5 games, is averaging 23. I'm like around 23, 4 and 7. Like those numbers are crazy. And I think since not making the All-Star team, like she has just been on a tear. And game 3, when it mattered the most, making shots, when her team needed when in the overtime, 8 straight points. And then on the other side too, Asia Wilson did have didn't have the greatest game 1, but like games now 2 and 3, to now have your second consecutive 30-point scoring. Even though people say it was a travel, I've seen that happen in numerous playoff games, and I've seen that. But I think that was a good performance by arguably, I'm going to say, the MVP of the season. And like, even with the small ball lineup, she did everything on the offensive side of the ball: layups, J's, and offensive rebounds. Like, this is her 7th 30th point game in her career. And I believe, if I'm saying it correctly, I think she's like 4 more points from passing Angel McCoughtry for the most points in the postseason, if I'm saying that correctly. So other than that, there was a question that in the post game, I'm not sure if you're on that Zoom call, and I'm going to play it. And I want to get your thoughts on this.
This question is for Sue. The series is far from over. We know that. You guys lost today, but the series is not over whatsoever. with the way that the crowd was in Las Vegas, the fan support and everything like that, and everything going into today's game, knowing it's your last year, would you want it any other way? I mean, this has to be the way you want it to be, right? You don't want just easygoing games. You want excitement, don't you?
No, I want 20-point wins every game until we win the championship. What are you talking about? I don't want to lose. I'm not, no disrespect, but what?
All right. Thanks, ladies. Appreciate it. We'll have Coach.
What the hell was that?
Listen,
You
man.
can have the floor on that one.
Listen, man. This hurts on so many levels, and you know, Super, as a Storm fan for 2 seconds, this Super responded absolutely correct and on point for this answer. But I want to transition to a different area when talking about this. We're both media members, and there's a bunch of people who do different things for different organizations and for different networks, and they get the privilege to be on these media calls, whether in person or on Zoom. And I've been on multiple media calls throughout the season. They've all been amazing to go to and talk with these amazing athletes and people who I've looked up to, some of them for almost 10 years. So this question really pisses me off as a media member, and because I feel like there are two different groups. There are people who do this as a job and pursue this as a job, and then there are other people who are fans more than employees. And I thought, as I've gotten to know people and get to know the experience, I've worked on transitioning from one side to the other. And this is my first year doing what I do, and so I'm still learning, and I'm learning and progressing every single day. And I've gotten the understanding of how this works, and how when to ask the right questions, and when to not ask ask a certain question. This question absolutely disrespects the privilege that you have if you're a media member. It's an absolute disrespect to us. I'm putting it out there to us, and because what fans need to understand that don't have the opportunity that we have is that's just it. This is an opportunity for guys like us. Not everyone gets this privilege, and some people work hard for this, and some people want to do this when it's all said and done, and it just makes I'm speaking on behalf of them, to be honest, because it just that kind of question just tarnishes what all our hard work. And you know, it just, this type of question just really pisses me off, because it feels like that media member, I don't know them personally, or I don't even know who said that question. It feels like they're taking advantage of this privilege, of this opportunity. Negative advantage. There's a difference. And you know, it's a blatant question. Of course, answering the question, yeah, of course she doesn't want to lose. Of course she wants to win every single game by 20 or more to win until they win a championship. That's, nobody wants to lose. You don't go into a game saying, "Oh, we're gonna lose." That's fine. I like losing. Nobody wants to lose, and especially in the playoffs. And it's a complete disrespect to all media members who have this opportunity. This opportunity is a privilege. It is earned, and it can be taken away just as easily.
Right there on the money. Preach it, Brenden. Preach it. Now, I have said this on numerous occasions. I'll say it before. I choose to do this because it's a passion. Brenden chooses to do it because he has a passion for it. We all have a responsibility to be professional. We listen. Journalists make mistakes. There's sometimes like when we talked about our first episode together. I asked Coach T a question that really wasn't directed to the Mystics, was more of a, can you tell me what you see in a Derek Fisher team versus a Fred Williams team? And he snapped and going, I don't talk about other coaches, I talk about my own team. That really wasn't the best question. There are questions where a question I may ask, it may not be the best, but most players would respond to it. And in this point, we're going to play the question again. But when I heard it, and I'm like, wait a minute. We already noticed her last year. Like, what does playing in Vegas have to do with what happened in the game? Like, they were missed opportunities for Seattle to win, and it was almost kind of like pretty much saying, he kind of like predicted, oh, this was your last game. Like, you're not winning game 4. And that to me was a bit of a reach, because Seattle could we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow on Wednesday. We don't know that. But when you look at her reaction, it was the same reaction I had, because I was on the call myself, and I go, damn. Like, really?
Can I? Sorry, before you play that clip, I do want to point something out. Think about the game that they just had when you watch this clip again.
Yes.
Think about the game that they just had. They had a game where they lost in overtime, where they 100%. Everybody on that team, Coach Quinn was pissed about it. Everybody on it. She said, "You mean on the travel to answer an Asia Wilson or a question about Asia Wilson?" But bottom line is, every single person on this team was pissed because they couldn't close it out. And like I said earlier, it was the little mistakes. So I commended Sue Bird for answering the correct way. That was the absolute correct way. But just look at the body language of those players and just see how pissed they are and the kind of question that comes up.
Well, play it one more time for you, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, trust your eyes and trust your ears, because Arch damn sure didn't in this clip.
This question is for Sue. The series is far from over. We know that. You guys lost today, but the series is not over whatsoever. With the way that the crowd was in Las Vegas, the fan support and everything like that, and everything going into today's game, knowing it's your last year, would you want it any other way? I mean, this has to be the way you want it to be, right? You don't want just easygoing games. You want it.
What, right there. What do you mean when you say easygoing games? So you're saying that you like she is she walk? Are you prophesizing that this like we're not going to get to see another Sue Bird game like this? Like what are we saying here?
Excitement, don't you?
No, I want 20-point wins every game until we win the championship. What are you talking about? I don't want to lose. I'm not, no disrespect, but what?
All right. Thanks, ladies. Appreciate it. Wow.
And I think honestly and truthfully too, Brenden, and you can probably agree on this. That's why they don't really like that's why I've noticed when they lose, this is where on any team, the players don't stick around long for the end of the game calls, because questions like that. Like, I remember, like, there's this journalist. You probably know who he is. His name, shout out to Rafiq Lewison, killing it in the game right now. And they be giving him like after with Dallas. You know, they're getting on him about not mispronouncing names and different things like that. But what do you call this?
Yeah, yeah, like you said, we've messed up multiple times during media calls, and there have been calls where, like you said, mispronouncing names, that happens. We're all human, but it's just so disrespectful to the industry. I sports journalism or whatever. I think that's what most people use these types of opportunities for. But it's just such a disrespect to to the industry, and I commend Sue Bird. This is why I tell her she's so or why I tell people about her she's so genuine, and she tells it like it is. She told it like it was. She said exactly what she needed to say, and she explained it perfectly. And she said the thing that made me laugh was no disrespect. If I were her, I would have disrespected the shit out of him, because you not out of him personally, but like that kind of question, like come on, it's just so it's horrible.
Now I want to get your opinion on, because I don't know what this is, and we have people calling for Noelle Quinn's job, which is by far the most ignorant thing I've ever heard, because of miscues and mishaps. We're now calling for the woman's job. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I get it, and this is something that I in 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 a pair or like in eye popping losses like this, in close losses like this, you're gonna get mad. I was beyond pissed yesterday, and I see people calling for Noelle Quinn's job, mainly because they didn't like how she approached the ending of the game, that part is understandable. But here's here's what I boil this down to. Imagine if you're at a job, doesn't have to be basketball, can be any job, and you're on a really very strict timeline. It's very strict, and you need to get this done now, or something bad is going to happen. Not close to getting fired or losing your job, but it's going to be bad. That's the same. And let's say you don't get it on, or you don't get it in on time or whatever, and you mess up. Imagine if people around your company are calling for your job. Imagine saying going imagine your coworkers go into your boss and saying this person should not be working. This person should not be earning money to support their family, or whatever, for our company. Um, and I've seen it go, not for Noelle Quinn specifically, but I've seen it as bad as this person should never do this job again. They should never do this job. A different job is suitable for them, which we know is not true for any coach or whatever. But this person should not be doing this job because of this decision or this call or this something in the moment or whatever. That's the same thing that Storm fans are doing for Noelle Quinn. It's the same thing. and it's completely uncalled for. I get being angry and being upset that we lost. I completely understand that. And what needs to be understood more is yes, you're upset and yes, you're mad. The players are just as upset, maybe even more than you. And I think that last clip demonstrated it perfectly. They are just as pissed as you guys because they do this for a living. That's what they do. You come to watch them. You come to watch what they do. You pay to watch what they do. And they are just as mad as you guys. The coach is just as mad as you guys, maybe even more. And she expressed her anger during her press conference, but you're displaying your anger and your sadness over this game the wrong way. Do it some other way. I took a breath from talking about this game, not necessarily social media in general, but just talking about this game. And I'm ready to move on to tomorrow. But under any circumstances, don't call for someone's job. Never mind our fans calling for Noel Quinn's job.
Especially when you have a championship just as recent as the bubble. That's what I'm confused about. Like, you know what, Brenden, if you don't mind, would you like to hear Coach Quinn in the post game? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, of course.
Because everything she said, like you said, Brenden took the words right out of my mouth, and I'm flabbergasted on the fact that we really have people calling for this woman's job. It's crazy to me.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up with some questions. Start here in the room. If you have a question, you can raise your hand for Coach. Start with Mom down here.
Hey, Coach, kind of a two-part, but A, the emotion was in this game, and then B, how it is, how do you move on quickly with one day in preparation?
You said it. Just have to watch the film, get better, adjust with the one day in between, and move on from there.
And, just talk about the decision to sub Tina, and she didn't play the entire fourth quarter and sub her in the final possession.
Just wanted a vet on the floor at that time.
Coach Sue was coming in and talking about there was an option to maybe foul on the last play. Could you just walk us through kind of defensively what was your strategy and into that decision?
Yeah, we talked about it. I just looked at some clips. It was tough to get there to execute that specifically, but we talked about it and just didn't execute it. It's on me. I'll take it on the head. All of what happened end of game, all of our execution things that falls on me.
Really quick, I'd just like to say that the W should really needs to improve on microphone quality. Like, there needs to have like a microphone on both, like at least 2 or 3 microphones on wherever they're sitting, because like I feel like there's only one mic being passed around. Maybe it's just me.
Specifically regarding the felony, I mean, how much of a concern with foul at the time left? Is it a felony in the act? And kind of walk us through that you saw.
The one where Asia traveled.
No, the young shot.
Yeah. Just looked at on the film what happened where there was a slip out. There was a guard, and obviously Young at the basket. This is the play you're referring to. Young at the basket. We couldn't found in that instance. They went immediately from sideline of bounds into the play, and that is difficult to defend, especially when she was right going into her shooting motion.
Do you think that the way the game ended in the regulation, or the way regulation ended carried over a little bit until the first maybe?
Probably some fatigue set in as well. I think we had that momentum and we wanted it to be done and it wasn't.
What was it like for you to get Gabby back today?
It was great. I thought that, she helped us tremendously. I know she has to get back her wind a little bit. Steph Talbot came in and gave really good minutes, but it was good to have Gabby's intensity, physicality, energy back on the floor with us.
I'm sorry, my mic was. I'm going to stop it there because as the questions were progressing, she just didn't want to really talk. I think she was just really upset with herself as well. Like I really thought at one point, like is she starting to cry? Maybe it was just me, but I could understand her frustration. It was a great game. It just came down to a few miscues. What if Tina Charles doesn't miss those 2 free throws? What if Ezzie McMagor blocks that Jackie Young shot? We will never know.
Or even if she goes up to contest.
Yes. It was great to have Gabby Williams back up there in the lineup. It's like she never left at all. I did have an issue with the fact that it was great to see Dearica Hamby back on the floor, but the fact that she only played under 4 minutes, that is absolutely
Bullshit.
I was shocked. I thought she should have got some more time. I'm sorry, Brenden, but I knew the game was over when Kia Stokes hit the 3, and everybody for the most part has been getting on Kia in terms of shooting. I knew the game was over when she really made the 3, the dagger.
Oh, in overtime? Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah. I knew the game was over as soon as they tied it. I was like, yeah. And Coach Quinn said fatigue. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't really know where this notion that, and I have concerns, and Brenden can point this out, but Asia Wilson played 45 minutes. Brandon Stewart played 43. Joy played 41. Sue played 42. So this notion that neither team can play because of their pace against a team like Chicago, I'm lost on that. Like, it's playoff basketball. Like, okay, yeah, I'm concerned that Kirsten Bells and Colston, Teresa Plaisance, they're not. You're going to go with your top 7, your most trusted players. Like, same thing. Noelle went 4 deep and with her bench, but Epiphany Prince and Brianne January played only combined 5 minutes. So most of your minutes came from Stephanie and Ezzie. Other than that, your starting 5, that's what you're going to have out there the most. So, I think that had to be arguably the best basketball game I ever saw. And where the Sue Bird making the game with the game that 3 to be up by 1. Then Jackie Young making the 2 overtime. That was just really great basketball. Watch Seattle come back from a 15-point deficit. That was great basketball to watch. And whatever happens, game 4, this was a great series, regardless. And I was great. I was really, really great to see. But I did want to show you this, Brenden, because this was actually on Twitter as well. And it was actually it's like reminds you of 2K when the CPU makes a difficult shot on Hall of Fame.
Oh. Just hold. Oh, no. Holy shit. What the fuck? Wow.
Let's fucking go!
Wow.
I know!
Wow.
Woo!
Wow.
Woo!
God bless evening.
Corner 3!
Johnny,
Drop it on my ass!
Shout out to the committee.
Rest in peace, headphones users. No, man. I mean, they nailed it right. She nailed it right on the head. Like I was. As soon as that shot went up, I said, "Oh, that's in," and then it went in, and I was screaming behind. You see behind me, I had all that space to just run around and scream, and just freak out about what just happened. And I said, "This is the perfect ending to this game." Sue Bird hitting the game-winning three, and then the preceding actions. But I wanted to I don't know if you were gonna get into this issue as well, but I wanted to speak on this issue.
Go ahead, floor is yours.
So there was an issue with so shot goes in, Sue Bird shot goes in. Number one issue is the clock read 0.2 seconds. They adjusted the clock
Yes.
to 0.8, but there have been shots like that specifically within the last minute of a quarter, whether it's first, second, third, or fourth, where they've ran the clock too long, and that I've ran clocks before in practice, and I'm pretty good at stopping it when I need to, and when I am not at a certain point, then I adjust it. For professionals to be able to do this, and do it this poorly in a close out of a game, a playoff game or regular season game, you need to get this right, and you need, because it creates timeouts as well. It creates unnecessary timeouts for either side. I don't care what side you're rooting for.
Did you feel like they had the time right when on Vegas's possession to tie to go into overtime?
Yeah, they had it correct, but I was gonna transition to this point as well.
Mm-hmm.
When the clock was readjusted, it was readjusted to 0.8 seconds. Okay, it went from 0.2 on the screen clock to 0.8. But what we read, or that's if you're at the game. Now there are a certain amount of seats that are available at the game. Most people around the world are watching this on their television.
Yep.
On the television, on ESPN, on ABC. This is why I hate ESPN with a passion. It read 1.8 seconds. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And people are freaking out, especially Seattle Storm fans, because the Aces have the ball. How does Sue Bird get up a shot at 1.9 seconds on the shot clock, and now there's 1.8 seconds? That is completely false.
Yes, thank you.
And that is a mess up on ESPN's part.
Thank you.
I've said this so many times on Twitter, and I've had to explain this so many times on Twitter. And that's a mess up on ESPN's part. And I have two issues. One, that it's an issue, period. And to fit, I said, okay, this is a mess up on ESPN, so I watched the shot clock run instead of the game clock because I knew that was an issue. And two, the announcers should be able, the people calling the game should be able to see on their screen that this is an issue.
Rebecca Lobo,
Ryan Rucco, they should be able to see that there's an issue here. They never called it out once. In fact, they said there's this amount of time on the clock. There's this amount of time on the clock. No, there's not.
You know why they didn't call it? Because they knew they had a feeling the game was over when Sue hit that three.
Yeah, and it's too much pride in your company too. Like, this is a complete mess up on ESPN's part. That is not on anyone affiliated with this game going on. That's not on the officials or anything having to do with the NBA or the commissioner. This is on ESPN's part and their coverage of this game. And it just pisses the hell out of me off.
Yep.
When this type of thing happens. And so people need to be more aware that these kind of mess ups are going to happen if ESPN broadcasts the game. And they need when they do happen, don't pay attention to what's on your TV. Pay attention to what people around the arena are seeing to the best of your ability.
Yep.
There have been camera issue complaints. There have been clock issue complaints. Every single thing on the board that not having to do with the players on the court and the referees, they blame it on the referees.
All the time.
The coaches, and it's not even their fault.
It's not.
And it's just ESPN, please do better. You wanna grow, be a part of the growth of the game. Please do better.
And it's also interesting too. The UConn fan base, which I have no beef with, feel like they got screwed in this game. And instead of just saying, damn, no, Las Vegas won this game when they just lost it. Like right now on Twitter, I can't tell you how it's just all of a sudden that UConn just being brought up in this. Nothing to do with the game. But you nailed it right there on the head. You have to be better. I felt like they had the shot clock correct. I haven't seen a conspiracy theory, but I did want to get your thoughts on painfully what these next couple games look like, starting with Chicago and Connecticut. Do you see Connecticut surviving for another day, or is it over for the Sun?
We talked about the Chicago Sky game or the Chicago Sky Connecticut Sun game before we talked about this Vegas game. And it was a 4-point game, and missed layups was the key to this game. And fans of either team or fans of Connecticut are going to say, well, if we make even 3 of our layups, we're probably going to win this game. That's not the mentality you need to have going in the next game. It's 0-0. It's a brand new game. It's a closeout game. And so with that being said, I think Connecticut ran into a veteran team in Chicago. So I'm going to pick the Sky, but I'll tell you what. Chicago had this kind of a series with the New York Liberty. New York came out and fired on all cylinders, literally and figuratively. Against Chicago, they beat them fair and square, and then Chicago came out and beat the crap out of them the next 2 games. They did the same thing with Connecticut these next 2 games after Connecticut stole one in Chicago. So I said on social media after Chicago won the first game in this series, Chicago might be the best bounce back team that I've seen, at least in these playoffs. They're a complete epitome of what I call an adjustment team. They watch film, they adjust to it. They move and counter move. We talk about the game of chess in this Vegas and Seattle series, or in the playoffs. Vegas played chess, and they made their moves, and they capitalized off of them. So with all that being said, I'm taking Chicago.
Guaranteed.
The Connecticut Sun are going to win Game 4.
Guaranteed.
I'm saying that with my chest, but I'm going in with expectations that are below 50%. I'm trying to really give them the benefit of the doubt, and I think they know what they have to fix. because this is a team I picked to go to the finals now 2 years in a row, and my I need to pick my face up off the floor because Game 4, Las Vegas Aces versus Seattle Storm. Give me your outlook on the game.
Oh man, I think this is going to be another good game. This series. I think what needs to be established here is Seattle can beat this team. There have been multiple games in this series. There's only been 3 games in this series, obviously, but there's been multiple games where you look at this game and say, okay, Seattle could have won this game. Seattle could have taken this lead or whatever. So that proves that Vegas is not a juggernaut by any means, especially with the regular season that they've had. So Seattle needs to come out. They're playing in a closeout game too. They are playing with, obviously, their backs against the wall, and this is a closeout game for Vegas. So I see Seattle playing in a closeout game as well. Put all the emotional stuff away from this being in Seattle, maybe this is Sue Bird's last home game in Seattle. Put that all away. That's what the players are going to do. They're not worried about that. That's the last thing on Sue Bird's mind, as we've gone over. So that's not determined and shouldn't be determined in anyone's vote for this game. But I am going to pick Seattle to tie this series 2-2, and I'll add one more in there. If Seattle wins this game and force a game 5, they will win this series.
Guaranteed.
That's confidence. I like that.
Yeah,
I
said it from the jump. I said let's say we go down 0-2 in Vegas, then our backs are against the wall, and then we go 2-0 at home. Obviously, it didn't end that way, but we have a chance to go up 2-2. If we force a game 5, either way, we're gonna win game 5.
Really quick, here's my prediction for the Connecticut Storm in Game 4.
To play better, period. And the great thing is it's right in front of us. It's right here, and we can fix it. It's right here. It's there, and we can run away with this thing. Do it. We got to do it. You know. If we don't score, it's tough to win. And I'll answer these same questions. Am I perplexed? Yeah, I am. We got to do better. And we got the pen. Reggie tells me all the time, we got the pen. We get to write the script the rest of the way. No one else can get in our way if we go play our game. And that's what we got to do. But we got to stop talking about it. We got to go do it.
There's my prediction for Game 4 for the Connecticut Sun. As far as Las Vegas and Seattle, I know Seattle's going to come out aggressive early. They will look to punch Seattle in the mouth. I know they're definitely motivated from this overtime loss, but I believe the Aces know they got to close this out. I think both teams know what's at stake. When you look at just the way Asia's been playing, picking up a game, Chelsea Gray, and then I think this is Seattle's game to win, but this is also Las Vegas's game to win. Like I said, they both know what's at stake. I just don't see Las Vegas having a game where they get mentally and physically taken out the game. I think the small ball lineup has been effective for Las Vegas. Seattle has picked its spots, but it's like you said, it's going to come down to the little things. This was literally a game of possessions. I think that's what it's going to come down to. And I'm going to say, out of respect, the Las Vegas Aces will advance to the finals.
Guaranteed.
But whatever happens, this was the best series that you as a basketball fan could ask for.
This I completely get what you're saying, and I said before the series starts I wouldn't look at you funny if you went either way for picking Vegas or Seattle in this series. So I completely understand that or the Aces pick. But I think this is one of those matchups you get in a year where a semifinals matchup is better than the championship or better than the finals. I think majority of people who watch WNBA basketball are picking the winner of the Storm and the Aces series to win the championship. I am personally going the same way. So yeah, I completely agree. This has been amazing basketball to watch. Unfortunately, I'm on a rooting side for it, so it's not, and especially because my team is not doing as well, so it's not as fun to watch. But like I said in the Seattle Storm and Washington Mystics series, if you are a basketball fan, both men's and women's, and not a fan of either rooting side, then you are then this is the matchup for you. And that goes with the Storm and the Aces for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude episode 14, season 10 of Big Day Sports Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, be tuned in for the NFL preview episodes, reactions to the Washington Commanders and Baltimore Ravens 53-man rosters. Brenden, thank you. We definitely want to chop it up some more, particularly when we do our finals coverage. Whoever gets to the finals, and might also I'll talk to you afterwards. But we have an idea of a debrief for the offseason for each of the 12 teams, and at some point before the draft, let's network on that. But closing message today marks 200 days that Brittany Griner has been wrongfully detained in Russia. We all know that Dennis Rodman, and this is not a slight on him. He talked about he was going to go over there, and he backed off, said, "I changed my mind." I am praying for Brittany, and every day I'm praying for her family. I'm proclaiming that she'll be home, and I'm hoping that our current administration is doing the necessary things, not only just to bring not just Brittany home, but the other detainees as well in Russia. As well, again, ladies and gentlemen, we are all entitled to opinions. We can agree to disagree. But the one thing I will not tolerate is ignorance and negativity. Particularly when it comes just in everyday life. You know, we can have conversations, we can be diverse in thinking, but what I've seen on social media, particularly on Twitter, I see why journalists don't really engage and waste their time. I kind of can see that. So just let's be better than what we are. Let's be better. Brenden, do you have a closing message?
I mean, you kind of took it. I was going to say 200 days for Brittany Griner's detainment, but you know, I said about yesterday that I stayed off of talking about this game on social media. Yeah. And this Storm and Aces game because I was pissed. I was rightfully pissed. But I saw on social media some tweets talking about this, and yesterday was at 199 days, and I put those to the forefront of my timeline, and I said there are much bigger things going on around here than basketball, than a basketball game. This is a basketball game. That's all it is at the end of the day, and there are much bigger things going on around the world than a basketball game. I completely echo your message. It's okay to have opinions. I draw the line at arguments and arguing about a person's character being the reason for this type of situation.
Mhm.
So that's what I draw the line at. Again, that's my own opinion. But end of the story is Brittany Griner's wrongfully detained for 200 days now. We pray that she gets home as soon as she can safely, as well as the other wrongfully detainees.
Yep, most definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude the episode. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for those that watched us. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Share the podcast. This was also on, shout out to those that watch on Facebook and Twitter, along with YouTube. You'll find me on Spotify, Big Nate Sports Talk, also Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Please leave reviews. It helps the podcast, helps me grow, and it helps really this channel grow. So I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the new subs as well. Much, much appreciated. But until then, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good week. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day. Stay safe. Peace out, y'all.
This is how I believe, okay? I'm from the old school. I believe this. I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it. I want winners. I want people that want to win.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.
I ran away from heartbreak. Got nothing in return for my pain. I never thought I'd be so empty, so alone and afraid. Wasn't looking for a lover. Nobody understood where I've been. Guess I thought I needed more time to protect my love from potential offense. So I